Welcome to my channel Bombshell 25. Surprising my boyfriend at work. The idea. It was a quiet Saturday morning when Jana Duggar sat at her kitchen table, her laptop open in front of her. The scent of fresh brewed coffee filled the air, blending with the soft hum of a bustling morning in the Duggar household. As usual, her younger siblings were already up and about, and she could hear the faint sounds of their voices filtering through the house. But for now, it was just her and the stillness of the early hours. The idea had been brewing for a while now, ever since Luke had mentioned how overwhelmed he felt at work. Luke, her boyfriend, worked as a project manager at a tech company, and recently he'd been juggling multiple projects with tight deadlines. Jana knew how hard he worked, how much he cared about doing well in his career. They'd been dating for over 6 months now, and though their time together was sometimes limited by their busy schedules, she had grown to admire him more than she could put into words. He was kind, driven, and supportive of her dreams, even though she had her own unique family dynamics and obligations. She loved him in a quiet way, a steady kind of love that was patient and understanding, built on the small moments shared between them. But now she wanted to do something special. Something that would surprise him, show him how much she appreciated his efforts, and remind him that she was cheering him on every step of the way. The surprise. That's what she was planning. A surprise. Not just any surprise, she wanted it to be meaningful, thoughtful, and a reflection of how much she cared for him. Jana chewed on the edge of her pencil as she scrolled through ideas on her laptop. A gift? A handwritten letter, a thoughtful lunch. Something in her gut told her that he'd appreciate something personal, something that could break through the hustle of his busy workday. She couldn't deny it, she was nervous. She had never been the kind of person to plan big surprises, and the idea of making him feel special in a public setting, like his office, made her heart flutter with uncertainty. What if it went wrong? What if it wasn't what he wanted? But no, she told herself. She knew Luke. She knew how much he appreciated the little things, the heartfelt gestures, the unexpected moments. And this was exactly what she wanted to give him. Planning the perfect surprise. The more Jana thought about it, the more she was convinced that the best surprise for Luke would be a homemade lunch. Luke was always telling her how much he loved homemade meals, how they reminded him of his family's simple yet warm gatherings. The thought of him sitting at his desk, surrounded by paperwork and emails, opening up a box with his favorite foods and a personal touch was enough to make her smile. She spent the next few hours planning. Luke was a meat and potatoes kind of guy with a soft spot for comfort foods. She could make his favorite sandwich, roast beef with sharp cheddar, a little mustard, and fresh greens on whole grain bread. Along with that, she could prepare a side of potato salad, and for dessert, a batch of chocolate chip cookies, soft and gooey. Then Jana decided to add something more personal. She'd write him a note, a short one, but with heartfelt words. She would tell him how much she admired his work ethic, how proud she was of his accomplishments, and how much she cared for him. Her fingers flew over the keys as she drafted the note in her mind. Luke, you've been working so hard lately, and I just wanted to take a moment to remind you how much I admire you. Your dedication and passion are inspiring to me, and I'm so grateful for the kindness and love you bring into my life. I hope this lunch reminds you that you are always in my thoughts and that I appreciate you more than you know. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Love, Jana. It felt right. Simple but meaningful. It was the kind of note that would convey the depth of her feelings without being too over the top. Now, the next challenge, getting it all to his office without him knowing. She would have to keep the surprise under wraps, which meant a little creativity. The morning of the surprise, Jana woke up early. It was still dark outside when she slipped out of bed and headed into the kitchen. The rest of the house was quiet, everyone still asleep, but Jana felt a quiet sense of determination settle over her. She would make today special for Luke. It was her chance to show him how much he meant to her, and she wouldn't let anything get in the way. She started with the sandwich. She carefully layered the roast beef, added the sharp cheddar, and spread just the right amount of mustard. The smell of freshly baked bread filled the kitchen as she wrapped it up carefully in wax paper, making sure it stayed fresh. Then she moved on to the potato salad. Potatoes, boiled and chopped, were mixed with a tangy dressing made from mayonnaise, mustard, and a touch of dill. She seasoned it perfectly, just like Luke liked it. While the food was cooling, Jana worked on her note. She took out a blank piece of stationery and wrote the message, taking extra care with her handwriting. It had to be perfect. She folded it neatly and tucked it into the lunchbox. The final touch was a bouquet of fresh flowers. She had stopped by the local farmer's market earlier in the week to pick up some seasonal blooms, sunflowers, roses, and a few sprigs of lavender. She wrapped them up carefully and placed them in a small vase to make them easy to transport. By the time everything was packed and ready to go, the sun had begun to rise. Jana double-checked the lunchbox, making sure everything was in place, and slipped on her jacket. She was about to leave when her sister Jessa appeared in the kitchen. "Are you really doing this?" Jessa asked with a grin, her arms folded across her chest. "This is bold, even for you." Jana laughed, a little embarrassed. I know. But I really want to do something special for him. He's been working so hard, and he deserves a little surprise." "I think it's sweet," Jessa said, giving her a supportive smile. "You've got this. He's going to love it." On the road to the office, the drive to Luke's office wasn't far, but it felt like the longest 30 minutes of Jana's life. She kept glancing in the rearview mirror to check on the lunchbox, making sure everything was secure. The bouquet of flowers sat beside it, just out of reach, and Jana could already picture Luke's smile when he saw it. Her mind raced with thoughts of what could go wrong. What if he wasn't at the office? What if he had an important meeting and couldn't even take a break? What if? "Stop overthinking, Jana," she muttered to herself. "It's going to be fine." When she finally pulled into the parking lot of his office building, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. The nerves were still there, but they were mixed with a quiet excitement. She could see the glass-fronted entrance to the building, and her heart skipped a beat when she imagined Luke walking in later, surprised by what she had planned. Jana parked her car and took a deep breath. It was time to make her way inside. The office surprise. Jana had never been inside Luke's office building before, and as she entered through the front doors, she felt a little out of place. The lobby was sleek and modern, with polished floors and minimalist furniture. She approached the front desk, where a receptionist greeted her with a friendly smile. "I'm here to drop something off for Luke Jennings," Jana said, trying to sound casual. The receptionist glanced down at the clipboard in front of her and nodded. "Of course. He's in the break room right now, if you'd like to take it to him." Her heart fluttered in her chest as she made her way to the break room. She peeked around the corner, and there he was, Luke, sitting at a small table, typing away on his laptop. He hadn't seen her yet. Gently, Jana stepped inside and cleared her throat. "Surprise," she said, her voice soft but filled with affection. Luke looked up, his eyes widening in surprise as he saw her standing there with the lunchbox and flowers. A smile spread across his face as he stood up quickly. "Jana, what are you doing here?" he asked, clearly stunned. "I thought you could use a little break," she replied, setting the lunchbox down on the table. "I brought you lunch, and a little something to brighten your day." To be continued.